Welcome back, everybody, to more Mysidia Pain. We've got JB here, and he's going to be going over some of my CM matches. So these are matches where I'm playing manually against another opponent that is also playing manually. JB, thanks for coming on. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Glad to try and help you out here and help out any of the folks that are trying to get into manual. So yeah, we got another great match for you guys to take a look at today. All right, so last video we kind of had a look at Mysidia's day 3 of CM, and he actually fought another fire team. Today he's going up against Alistair, who's actually somebody that I know from our live PvP server. He's a good player. He's actually flashing an Earth team here today. So let's take a look at the match, and let's see how it goes here for Mysidia. So just like last time, Mysidia, when you see the Lorenzo there and you kind of see some of the numbers there as you're loading into the match, any thoughts are coming into your mind here?
So I know Lorenzo from live. I know that he has haste. I know he's a time mage, but I know also that he got a lot of extra dispel utility from his 140. So basically I can't take him for granted as just some support unit anymore. He could definitely be a threat, going forward.
And what about the other two units there? Obviously you have Bradley and Catone.
Oh
so
my God,
I mean,
yeah.
who do you see as like the #1 threat on this team?
That's the funny thing, is that I have such a history of playing poorly against Catone that she scares the crap out of me, because she has incredible range and she can apply stop at a high percentage with her limit burst. So if you really don't watch her, that's what's going to cost you the match. Now Bradley is just so good; he's got really high range as well, but the Catone's the one that really sneaks up on you, and before you know it, you have a unit that can't act, and that's really that you have no way to come back from that.
Yeah, the stop on the limit burst is a backbreaker if she can land that. So something that you always need to be looking at, where can she move to? Her limit burst has a range of 3 on it, and it has a 67% chance to land that stop on you. So actually what a lot of manual players do, other than like trust stones, which is a common one to have stop, Elia's TMR is very good tech to completely nullify that, and has 2 casts of it. So it does also nullify charm as well, which is another one that comes up often in manuals. So let's see how this match goes here.
People are always telling me to use Elias TMR, and my answer is always, I don't have it.
There are other ways. The Wells TMR also does nullify stop. So he immediately is getting the haste off onto his Catone, and he's already kind of moving here into an aggressive position. So another thing that you can do is I noticed one thing is that you never really are checking the vision cards here for the opponent kind of in these early turns. So for anybody that doesn't know, you can click on the unit, you can hit this the map button here, and there's an option to go into party abilities there that will come up on the screen, and you can look at their actual vision card loadout. That can kind of give you some basic information about how he's built his team, whether how accurate they might be, how evasive that they might be if they're pulling in those evade vision cards. Pretty important for that Catone matchup, knowing whether you might have a good chance of hitting her right off the bat. Things like that you can start to glean, early on in the match. You can also specifically look at the stats and see how much luck a unit like Catone has, and that can kind of give you an idea of how evasive she is too.
Yeah, and I definitely was looking at agility and luck stats, but you're right. I rarely look at the vision cards.
So we can already see this is the next day. You've already kind of changed up your initial sequence here where, Minwoo is no longer in the middle. You had Hio there so that he could get the Knight's Blessing off right away and then move forward. Your Minwoo can stay in place, and she's casting her haste. So I think at this point you're already kind of worried about the aggressively placed Catone, and you immediately go for the Keen Blade. And again, there's again, it doesn't change the turn order too much, other than like your Minwoo is really kind of moving up here because she had already sat in place and had 20 CT bonus. But it also is going to have this time it actually doesn't come to bite you, where the casting actually does resolve before her turn comes back. But that is definitely something that you need to be worried about.
And I have no pride. I did that several times. So it happens. And that was, you know, what a lot of people would consider a panic Keenblade, and I would also consider it a panic Keenblade.
So right there, let's go back a second here. So you did the Keenblade, and then you move into a very aggressive position here with Seymour. So he at that point is already easily in Catone's range, easily in Bradley's range. A very dangerous position for him to be, especially with Lorenzo's turn is coming up right here. Then your Minwu, and then the Catone is coming up. So, I mean, that Lorenzo, he probably has a Keenblade. That's something that you should be thinking about. He could move over, Keenblade his units, and then that Seymour is gone at that point. So I don't think that actually happens this time, but something that you should be kind of running through in your mind.
That's a huge blind spot for me. There's been so many times where I make a plan and I don't consider what my opponent's next move is going to be, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel so smart. I've planned out my turns. They will go after me, and I don't consider things like Keenblade, and you know, you kind of have to get punished by it. In my case, as a slow learner, you have to get punished by it in order to learn it.
I'm not sure why he doesn't do that here, but he's opting to kind of slow play it a little bit. So you immediately, so your Minwu's turn comes up early here, and you're channeling a Quicken here onto your Hio. I feel like Alistair maybe knows that he already has your Seymour. He's probably already checked your stop resistance, because he's moving right in for the limit burst here.
Yeah, you know, I really couldn't tell you why I put the Seymour there, because again, this was really early in my figuring out my movements for this team. But I think that maybe I was trying to I thought, okay, he was going to be ahead of Bradley, and because he was ahead of Bradley, I could maybe run in there and threaten his Bradley.
So let's actually run that back a quick sec here. So this is actually her movement range here. She can get as far as this tile. So basically, so she has range 3 from here to be able to hit that. So you could have put, you know, over somewhere over near where you had your Hio, and he would have been safe. Of course, you wouldn't have been in range to really do a lot at that point, but you did have the Quicken coming in from Minwu, and you, at least you would have been in a safer position until after Catone's turn was over. At that point, it's trouble for you because, you know, he still has all 3 units, and you're down to 2 at this point.
Yeah, so I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm using I look at not the most evasive Catone, considering I'm not using accuracy stuff on my Hio.
No, that's a pretty decent hit rate. So Quicken comes in, and you're going to be able to take a shot at both, or you can play a little bit more conservatively.
Yeah, I had to check. I mean, with the AoE resist up, it's not really too worth it.
So I actually liked that play here from you. I think that was, you know, considering the situation, I think that was the right decision for you to make, to play it a little bit more conservatively there. Confirm the kill onto Catone. He doesn't have any way to bring her back. And then you can have the Bradley and Lorenzo come to you. At least at that point, you know, it's, you know, he's probably going to kill your Seymour on his way to you, but at least you're in a 2 versus 2 situation at that point, rather than you know, a 3 versus 2.
Right. So at this point, he's realized that he's fallen straight into my trap I didn't plan, and that
the old sacrifice the Seymour trick.
Oldest trick in the Mysidia playbook.
So that was good there. I saw that you moved with Minwu to kind of get the additional timer there on the clock. So that's always a good habit to have. So this play, I questioned this one just a little bit, because I think it might have been good to get haste onto your Hio here, because he's been kind of hasting up with you know, with his Lorenzo, and obviously once Bradley gets in and gets an attack onto Seymour, he's going to have that CT start compounding with his attacks. So having the haste there onto your Hio to kind of counteract that would have been, I think, a little bit more valuable. The AP obviously is good too, but that's something that you could have pushed in later, potentially after the haste was on.
100%.
So
just get out of here with that.
Yeah, easily blasts Seymour there for a good 11 or 12,000 damage. So two versus two now. So he's still got the haste on his Lorenzo. He's channeling another haste. He's going to put that onto Bradley.
Mysidia, you're running out of time. No, 5 seconds. Oh man.
Yeah. So there, your haste falls off of Minwoo, and I think you're casting it onto Hio there.
Oh, just barely.
Just hanging on with that AoE resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty tough situation for you here now, because Minwoo is critical, and she's already in Bradley's range at this point, and his turn is coming up next.
Yeah, I'm definitely sweating at this point.
So let's actually roll that back a second before Bradley comes in. So on this turn here, where maybe it's something that you were thinking about, but you kind of were running out of time there. But
yeah,
when you cast this spell, you should have booked it over into the corner here to get out of range. Because one thing about Bradley is he doesn't have courage removal. Lorenzo does, but obviously he's kind of further back at this point. He's very slow, not very mobile. The kind of immediate threat to you at this point is that Bradley. You know that you're going to be able to take 1 to 2 hits from him, at least until that courage is popped. So getting Minwoo out of here would have, I think, made this match maybe play a little bit differently. Because you can see once he has that haste online, he gets that CT going, his turn's coming right back up again. So not only that, he's got Lorenzo behind him, probably with that keen blade.
It's something that I'd fully underrated about Bradley in terms of manual is I didn't realize how quickly he was going to get to stack all that kind of stuff. There were many matches where Bradley went more turns than I was anticipating, and it really made me think differently of him for manual. Not that I was thinking he was bad or something, just he's incredible.
He's a beast. Like if he has the haste and he gets the CT at the same time, it's... Oh, that was in the video.
Oh yeah, that was you know what that was? No, that was me. I was going on Google to quickly check, does he have Quicken? I thought he didn't have Quicken, but I wanted to really quickly double check. Not that it would have made much of a difference, but
yeah, so at this point he was able to confirm the kill on your Minwoo, but if she had been back kind of where Hio was, he might not have been able to do that. So yeah, I mean, at this point he's able to, I mean, there's a couple more turns here, but those were kind of the main points that I had there for you. I think that, like I said, some of that, those turns I think may have potentially changed some of the outcomes here, but I think that once you kind of lost your Seymour to the stop, it was definitely an uphill battle for you. So yeah, some of those kind of early decisions can compound and make it a much harder match to win for sure.
Yeah, and I think that advice about the Minwoo booking to the corner is something I'm trying to remember. I did panic. I remember panicking when the time was running out, but I don't think I considered moving her. I thought, oh, I'll save some CT. And what I didn't consider, again, is I didn't count Bradley's range. So I didn't think that he was coming in, quite as fast as he was.
Yeah, so Bradley on that rend ability is also a 6 range. It's a well above average. A lot of melee units are in that 4 to 5 range zones, that he can get up to 6. So that's another reason why he's really, really strong.
Okay, so obviously I was going to go on to somehow win that match. Just kidding. So that was a loss for me, but we are going to look at least one more match together, JB and I. So JB, thank you for coming on for this video. Any last words you'd like to share? Yeah,
so one thing, obviously Mysidia has taken a few lumps here in these first couple of videos we looked at. I want to say that, every player out there, they go through those, they have those tough matches. Even myself, I lose, from time to time. I make mistakes. So it's not a reason to be afraid of the mode. That is part of it. That's part of the learning process. So, definitely don't be afraid of it for that reason. I think that this mode is a lot of fun. It can definitely get the blood flowing too. So there is a lot of cool things about it. That's kind of what I'll leave you guys with today.
Awesome. And just a real quick clarification, JB doesn't lose matches. Okay, it doesn't happen. But I appreciate the humility there. But we all know that you go 5-0 every day. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you all soon enough.